Stop overpaying for travel data. I'm about to show you the eSIM I recommend to everyone and why it's better than what you're probably using right now. I'm Pallen, a brand strategist who happens to travel constantly. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm breaking down everything that you need to know about SimLocal, the travel eSIM that I've been using since I relocated. I'm partnering with SimLocal on this video, but I want to be clear. I reached out to them because I was already impressed, and by the end of this video, I think you will see why. Here's the thing about travel eSIMs. There are dozens of providers now, and most of them look identical. But once you actually use them, the difference becomes painfully obvious. Yeah, there's no doubt the travel eSIM market has exploded. On the surface, this might sound like good news, more choice, better prices, easier setup. But once you start digging in, actually, a lot of these providers cut corners. I'll explain. Some only offer data plans, no calls or no texts. That means you're stuck relying on Wi-Fi for anything important, from banking alerts to airline updates. Others advertise unlimited data, but hide a fair use policy in the fine print. You get 1 or 2 gigabytes, and then suddenly your speeds are throttled. I hate that. Pages crawl, maps lag, and it feels like 2005 all over again. And then there's customer support. Yikes, many of these companies are chatbots all the way down. When something breaks after you land in a new country, getting real help can be almost impossible. What I wanted was simple, reliable speeds, proper coverage, and actual human support if something goes wrong, and that's what led me to SimLocal. So what makes SimLocal different from everyone else? It comes down to who they partner with, and that's something most people overlook. SimLocal is different from most travel eSIM providers because they partner directly with top-tier local networks in each country. We're talking about carriers like EE and 3 in the UK, Orange across Europe, and AU in Japan. These are the same networks locals actually use every day. That means you're not being pushed onto a low-priority roaming connection. You get local speeds, local coverage, and the kind of reliability you'd expect if you lived there. Here's the part that I really like. In most countries, you can choose which network to connect to, or just let SimLocal automatically select the strongest signal for you. That's why I had better reception in rural areas than I did with my previous provider in the middle of a busy city. Now let's talk about money, because a great network means nothing if the pricing doesn't make sense. I did the math, and SimLocal surprised me. I wanted to see how SimLocal really compares on price, so I lined it up against Airalo and Holafly, the 2 travel eSIM brands most people recognize. Let's start with the basic plans. If you're looking at something simple, like for a short trip in the US or Europe, SimLocal is already very competitive. In many cases, the pricing is the same or slightly lower than Airalo for comparable data and duration. It's not about being dramatically cheaper here, it's about getting the same plan without paying extra. Where the difference really shows up is with unlimited plans. So looking at the United States, for example, SimLocal's unlimited options sit right in the same range as Holafly. But with one important difference, SimLocal includes 10 gigabytes of full speed data per day before any throttling applies. With Holafly, that full speed allowance is much lower. Depending on the network and location, you can start seeing slowdowns just after 1 to 3 gigabytes in a day. So for most travelers, 10 gigabytes per day is more than enough. That covers navigation, streaming, uploads, video calls, without constantly worrying about hitting a limit. And the same thing holds true in Europe. SimLocal's Europe plan gives you flexibility across multiple countries, strong local network access, and clear limits that are easy to understand. You're not guessing when speeds will drop, and you're not digging through the fine print to figure out what unlimited actually means. So when you look at the full picture, pricing, daily full speed data, and transparency, SimLocal ends up being the better value for most trips, especially if you're traveling for more than a few days. Not sure about how much data you actually need? SimLocal has a tool that figures it out for you in about 30 seconds. This is the Find My Plan calculator, and it's one of my favorite features. You start by selecting your destination, let's say Spain, and then you choose whether you need calls and texts or just data. In my case, just data. Next, you'll estimate how long you'll be traveling, a few days, a week, or a full month. And after that, you tell it how you actually use your phone. On the low end, you've got a data minimalist. That's someone who just needs maps, light browsing, maybe a few WhatsApp calls. Move it up and you'll see routine surfer. That's navigating, scrolling social media, the occasional video call, a realistic everyday traveler. Keep sliding up and you get habitual streamer, more uploads, more streaming, more screen time. And all the way at the end is data powerhouse. That's heavy streaming, HD video, large uploads. I definitely think I'm a routine surfer, so I'll make that selection. And based on that, it recommends the exact plan that fits, so you don't have to guess or overpay for data that you'll never touch. When I ran this before my last trip, I realized that I had been buying way more data than I needed. So this tool genuinely pays for itself. All right, let me walk you through exactly how to buy and install a SimLocal eSIM because it's faster than you think. Start by downloading the SimLocal app. It's available on both iPhone, which I'm using here, and Android. Once you're in, you select your destination and pick a plan. I'll grab a UK plan for this demo. By the way, at checkout, enter my coupon PhilPallen, one word. That gets you 5% off your next order. You're welcome. After purchase, tap My eSIM and then install plan. You'll see a few options. Tap Download Plan. That's the easiest, handles everything automatically. The QR code option is available to you. That's good if you're installing it for someone else, but you will need a second device for that to scan. Now, I recommend making sure that you're connected to Wi-Fi or stable data before you start this process. The activation is really straightforward and it takes about a minute or two. Once it's installed, go to your phone settings, rename the eSIM so that you can identify it easily, and make sure you toggle on data roaming. And that is it. You're connected before you even leave the airport. One last thing, and honestly, this is what sealed the deal for me. SimLocal has been around for over 15 years, and their customer support is actually reachable. A lot of eSIM providers are essentially startups with slick apps and very little infrastructure behind them, but SimLocal is different. They've been in the business since 2011, and it isn't just an online operation. They have physical stores in major airports across Europe that you'll probably spot: Heathrow, Dublin, Athens, places where you can actually walk in and speak to a real person if you ever need help. Online, they're just as established. SimLocal holds a 4.6-star rating across Trustpilot and Google. That's very high, backed by thousands of real reviews from customers. And if something does go wrong, support is available 24 hours a day. You can reach them through WhatsApp, email, live chat. You get an actual human. I also want to mention they offer a 100% money-back guarantee, so if your plan doesn't work or your trip changes, you get a full refund. That level of confidence is rare in this space. And when you're traveling, that kind of reliability matters. So that's SimLocal, the travel eSIM that I actually use and recommend. Real network partners, competitive pricing, unlimited plans that don't throttle you into oblivion, and support that's actually human. If you're planning a trip, check them out. I've linked to SimLocal below, and my code PhilPallen, one word, gets you 5% off. Let me know in the comments if you've tried them or if you're going to, or if you have any questions. Drop those down there as well. I'll be reading and replying. If this is helpful, hit like so more people find it, and subscribe if you want more videos on travel, branding, and building your business. I'm Phil Pallen. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.